Historic U.S.-China summit wraps. Trump cries, fantastic deals. Iran's forces are in ruins, and an Ebola outbreak in Africa. Greetings, humanity. Let's grok the news, starting with the most important story in the world today. Dateline Beijing. President Donald Trump wrapped up 2 days of high-stakes summit talks with Chinese President Xi Jinping, describing the meetings as very successful, world-renowned, and unforgettable. Trump's highlighted commitments from Xi, including China's willingness to purchase significant volumes of U.S. oil, soybeans, and up to 200 Boeing jets, alongside alignment on keeping the Strait of Hormuz open for global energy flows. Xi called the visit a historic and landmark moment, emphasizing mutual respect and a shared desire for stable bilateral ties. The pageantry was extensive, featuring garden walks at Zhongnanhai, a state banquet, and warm personal exchanges, where Trump referred to Xi as an old friend. Trade discussions dominated, with Trump touting potential double-digit billions in farm and aircraft sales, though Chinese officials offered measured responses without immediate confirmations. Analysts note limited concrete policy breakthroughs emerged, yet both sides stressed continued dialogue and truce extensions from prior agreements. Taiwan featured prominently as Xi delivered a firm warning against improper handling, while Trump signaled no shift in U.S. policy. Iran also loomed large, with Trump stating that Xi offered behind-the-scenes help to end the conflict and pledged no military equipment to Tehran. The visit included top U.S. CEOs, underscoring economic priorities amid global tensions. Trump departed Beijing aboard Air Force One after a red carpet send-off, inviting Xi to Washington later this year. Observers view the event as a diplomatic reset focused on de-escalation and commerce, even as underlying rivalries persist. Markets reacted positively, with the Dow crossing 50,000 earlier amid optimism. More on that later. The meetings occurred against a backdrop of careful choreography and limited leaks, highlighting the complexity of managing the world's most consequential international relationship. I'm Robert Gardner, using GROK each weekday to truthfully summarize the news, well-seasoned with my opinions. We review a roundup of the most critical reports in the world right after this. M.S. Gardner, my beautiful wife, is author of last year's Moon Meridian Prize winner from April Gloaming Publishing, Wolf's Bane, a dark, serious, modern take on an old fairy tale. I tell you, you've never heard Little Red Riding Hood told like this. It's a page-turning Southern Gothic story for adults. Wolf's Bane. Available now at thecuriousauthor.com. All one word, thecuriousauthor.com. Also, of course, available on Amazon. Now we grok the news headlines from around the world. Dateline Washington, D.C. CENTCOM Commander Admiral Brad Cooper testified that U.S. strikes in Operation Epic Fury severely degraded Iran's military across every domain, destroying roughly 90% of its defense industrial base, naval capabilities, and command structure. Terror proxies, including Hamas, Hezbollah, and the Houthis, are now cut off from Tehran support. So many, if not all, stated objectives achieved. This observer can think of a couple of objectives that are unachieved, the nuclear matter being one of them, and the liberty of the people of Iran being another. Cooper noted Iran retains limited nuisance threats but lost major power projection ability, with the Strait of Hormuz reopenable by U.S. forces. If needed, it'll be needed. Dateline Kinshasa. African CDC confirmed a new Ebola outbreak in Eastern Democratic Republic of Congo, killing dozens in a remote province. Officials race to contain the spread through contact tracing and vaccination drives amid challenging terrain and ongoing conflict. International partners mobilized aid as fears grow of wider regional impact from the hemorrhagic fever. This observer feels like that this is an actual virus outbreak story that makes a huge difference. Not like the Hanta virus story, which I have told GROK again today is no longer news. Dateline Washington, D.C. U.S. Border Patrol Chief Michael Banks abruptly resigned amid ongoing debates over southern border security policies and enforcement priorities. The departure comes as administration officials review strategies to address illegal crossings and related national security concerns. Dateline Washington, D.C. again. The U.S. Supreme Court has preserved broad access to the abortion pill mifepristone for now, maintaining current mail distribution rules and rejecting immediate tighter restrictions. The decision leaves key regulatory questions for future review, while access remains widely available nationwide. Dateline Havana, Cuba. Cuba's energy grid suffered major collapses, triggering widespread blackouts and public unrest as fuel shortages worsened. CIA Director John Ratcliffe met top officials in Havana amid the crisis, with reports of openness to potential U.S. assistance discussions. Something's about to happen in Cuba, folks. Dateline Washington, D.C. Senators Tom Cotton, John Boozman, and Ted Cruz urged the Department of War to invest in untapped domestic lithium supplies. The push aims to secure critical minerals for defense and energy needs, reducing reliance on foreign sources vulnerable to geopolitical disruptions. Dateline Sacramento. A former top aide to Governor Gavin Newsom and HHS Secretary Xavier Becerra pleaded guilty in a corruption scheme involving stolen campaign funds from the health secretary's office. The admission highlights ongoing accountability questions in California Democratic circles. Dateline New York, New York. The Dow Jones Industrial Average closed above 50,000 points for the first time, amid optimism tied to the Trump-Xi trade talks and broader economic signals. Investors watched for impacts on inflation, retail sales, and global supply chains. This observer is just waiting for SpaceX to go public. Dateline Bangkok. Scientists identified Southeast Asia's largest dinosaur species from fossils in Thailand, naming it, brace yourselves, naming it Nagatitan chiafumensis. The colossal creature weighed as much as 9 elephants. The discovery advances understanding of regional prehistoric life. Dateline London. UK Health Secretary Wes Streeting resigned amid mounting pressure on Prime Minister Keir Starmer, with rivals preparing leadership challenges. Borrowing costs rose, and the pound fell as political drama intensified. Dateline Kiev. Russia intensified drone and missile strikes on Ukrainian targets, including Kiev, causing some civilian deaths. Parliament passed a bill expanding Putin's powers for foreign military actions as the conflict continued. Dateline New York. India's Adani Group agreed to pay $18 million to settle a U.S. civil fraud case with the SEC. The resolution addresses long-running allegations while allowing the conglomerate to move forward on global projects. Dateline Los Angeles. Reality star Spencer Pratt pushed back against a TMZ report claiming he lives in a luxury hotel rather than an Airstream trailer, citing leftist death threats as the reason for the change of residence. Pratt, eyeing L.A. politics as a mayoral candidate, presented his counter-evidence. Dateline Europe. Australia and Israel advanced in the Eurovision semifinals while the contest faced boycotts and turmoil over participation. Romania and others also qualified amid debates on cultural politics and broadcasting traditions. Folks, this is all about certain anti-Semite European nations or leadership being against Israel. And what? For Hamas? Seriously. Dateline across the globe. Medical communities have renamed polycystic ovary syndrome, that's PCOS. They now call it polyendocrine metabolic ovarian syndrome, PMOS, to combat stigma and late diagnoses in women by better addressing its metabolic nature. The shift aims to improve awareness and create earlier interventions for the common condition. Well, it may be a common condition, but you don't run across that commonly. PMOS it is. I thank you for listening. Please join me tomorrow to once again grok the news. I'm Robert Gardner. Godspeed and God bless.